For this camp, in any given day, Ryan wakes up and he runs like Forrest Gump. And he doesn't have to, but he does.
He said 7 punches not gonna do it. I said, if you didn't put in the contract that I can't throw more than 7 punches, then I'd throw more than that.
Because Ryan is an elite fighter, he's a knockout artist, among the best fighters in the world today. They want to take every step to try to control the amount of strength he's gonna have.
Just 2 days, right?
Yeah. Just like one day he like forgot his tampon, he just started bleeding over the place.
Right to the butt. Right to the butt.
2 years, bro. And it's in the hood, bro. It hasn't closed down yet. You know why? Because this place. And Ryan's fast as shit. Ain't nobody gonna say Ryan's not one of the fastest fighters. And I look way faster at 47, way more explosive, way more durable.
Ryan Garcia is putting in non-stop work during his training camp. And with Rolly Romero helping him prepare, the two are focused on sharpening his speed, timing, and confidence as he gets ready to face Mario Barrios in.
Hey, go forward now.
Yeah.
Cut.
Ahí, ándale, equipo, arriba, abajo y arriba. Arriba, abajo, yes. Adelante y atrás. Échale, hijo, 5 minutes here. And 1 minute.
Rolly Romero has joined Ryan Garcia's training camp, bringing daily intensity while helping sharpen his speed, power, and focus through relentless dedication.
Stop. Llegan 2, 3 y luego 4 y 5. Las cosas a esos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y aquí. Sí, güey. 3, 4, 5.
Boxing analyst Wade Plemons offered a thoughtful perspective on the upcoming Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios clash, raising the classic question, does a coach make the fighter? Or does the fighter make the coach? Plemons highlighted Joe Goossen's long-standing reputation as a respected trainer, noting his ability to shape fighters, now including Barrios. He questioned whether the veteran coach could offer new tools or insights that Barrios had not already received from Bob Santos. Plemons also noted the intrigue of Garcia's confidence, suggesting that Ryan believes he already understands what Barrios and his camp plan to do.
I always wonder who makes a fighter, right? Especially in boxing, combat sports. Is it a coach that makes the fighter or the fighter that makes the coach? Goossen has a track record of being a high-level boxing coach. We know. But do coaches fighters, or do they implement what they know to fighters and fighters change for coaches? Because this will be the crux of what happens here. Can Joe Goossen, not to call Mario Barrios old, but can he teach an old dog new tricks? Can he give him something that Bob Santos hasn't? Sure. Can he give him more info about what Ryan likes to do? Absolutely. But will it be enough to prepare him for what Ryan knows that Joe knows? And how Joe trains fighters, and how Joe runs a camp, and how rigid he might be. And even that last part, Ryan's talking about information leaking maybe from Joe, or that Joe was leaking information about Barrios, or about, I'm not sure who he was talking about Ryan or about Barrios, but
he even hinted at Garcia's claims of knowing inside details about Barrios' preparation. Though the impact of that information remains unclear, ultimately Plemons emphasized that the fight is not just about physical skill, but also the relationship between coach and fighter. Can Goossen bring new strategies to Barrios, or will Garcia's familiarity with Goossen's methods give him the edge? The analysis highlights how experience, preparation, and the coach-fighter dynamic could play a crucial role when Garcia and Barrios finally meet in the ring.
The chaos in the corner, or not maybe chaos, but kind of misdirection in the corner of fight where Bob Santos is saying one thing and other cornermen are saying, Mario's kind of OG team are saying another. I think it's pretty well known that I would assume well known that Mario Barrios' dad used to train him, and I don't know if he was in the corner or it was somebody else, but there was a miscommunication, it seemed like, from even the people in the corner around the strategy of the Barrios fight or what they wanted to do against Manny Pacquiao. And let's just say I heard from sources there were a lot of frustrations that came out of that fight with how Barrios went into that fight, how he performed in that fight, and how directions were listened to from either one side or the other. It felt like it was a bit of a confusing thing. So when you have that kind of a situation, you feel like you need to make a move. One person's going to get left out in the dust, and it's probably not someone that's either one.
Ryan Garcia's trainer spoke confidently about his fighters' discipline and weight management, insisting that this camp is completely different from previous ones. He explained that once Garcia locks in mentally, everything else falls into place. Moving up to the 140 pounds division is both realistic and a strong opportunity. He emphasized that Garcia can make the weight comfortably without losing strength or energy.
Our strength and conditioning coach will lock it in, Ryan will lock it in, and we're back to 140, solid. But that's a strong possibility. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. And we talked about that.
It changes things.
Yeah. And I mean this. I mean this 100% sincerely. That we could make 140.
Because when you guys fought Haney, you guys were not necessarily you guys, but he was drinking, he was doing all these other things that...
Exactly, yeah, forget about that and forget about the Rolly, because I'm telling you, that was not Ryan. This is Ryan. This is Ryan. You're gonna see Ryan. This is gonna be Ryan. And you're gonna say, man, he looks good. His weight is good. And his strength is unbelievable.
The trainer also admitted that during the Devin Haney fight camp, Garcia wasn't fully focused and let distractions affect his preparation. This time, however, his mindset is sharper and more professional. He believes fans will see a leaner frame, improved stamina, and more explosive power on fight night. The team also noted that 147 pounds isn't far from 140, so making the weight without extreme rehydration measures shouldn't be an issue. Overall, the message was clear. A disciplined and dedicated Ryan Garcia is back, stronger and ready to perform at his best.
Far off from 140. So there's a strong possibility without rehydration cause, we could probably drop down to 140 with no problem.
And make the fight happen at 40 instead.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then you guys can rehydrate whatever you guys want from there.
I mean, listen, this is another thing that I've been seeing, and this is kind of interesting, is that, yeah, you got to rehydrate, of course, absolutely. Now, how far you can rehydrate? I would love to be over 7-8 pounds. Some go 10, some go 12, some even go 15, but they do rehydrate. But when you're in shape, in total fitness, I think the most you could hydrate is 7 or 8 pounds. I'm not kidding you. When you're in
Analysts warned fans not to read too much into the short training clips of Ryan Garcia circulating online. A 15-second highlight or even a 1-minute montage cannot accurately show how ready a fighter is for a 12-round bout. These videos are carefully edited to highlight speed, power, sharp combinations, while hiding the more challenging aspects of camp, such as fatigue, weight cutting, and conditioning struggles. As a result, the footage often gives an incomplete picture.
10-second, 15-second clips, because Ryan very well could have had similar clips before the Rolly fight, but then he ends up losing to Rolly in New York. So for me, when I see sparring clips or brief edited clips online, I don't necessarily factor that in too much into what is to be the outcome, because the fact of the matter is, for Mario Barrios, I haven't really seen many clips from him at all. So training footage is very selective by nature. You're usually going to see the best moments plucked out, highlights, specific drills, things that would make someone look good. They don't really tell the full story about conditioning, weight cutting, or readiness. But what it does or can give you is an overall, like a snapshot of where the fighter is mentally, physically. Ryan does look like he's in.
Analysts pointed out that Garcia looked impressive in similar training clips before his loss to Rolly Romero in New York. Yet the in-ring result told a different story. This shows that highlights alone cannot predict fight outcomes. By contrast, very little training footage of Mario Barrios has been seen, making direct comparisons even harder. Still, the clips give a glimpse of Garcia's mindset. He appears focused, fit, and serious about his preparation. Mentally and physically sharper. However, Barrios remains a respected and experienced welterweight, known for his size and durability. Ultimately, these snippets are just observations, not guarantees. The real answers will come on fight night, when preparation meets reality, and both fighters must prove themselves in the ring.
Much looking forward to the fight. I think Ryan Garcia really needs to impress here because he's coming off of a loss to Rolly Romero. And we all know in the world of boxing that back-to-back losses can really drive you down the ladder. So I am enjoying what I'm seeing regarding Ryan Garcia as he gears up for this particular fight. Ryan Garcia, his discipline has been in question in the past, but right now it looks like he's trying to really make a statement. He posted this via his official social media. This is Ryan's page, evident by the blue check mark. Quote, "Maybe you aren't my speed. Some shots throughout camp, the finish line is a..."
Greatness in boxing is measured not just by victories, but by legacy. If Ryan Garcia becomes a world champion, the sport gains a recognizable name that can captivate fans both inside and outside the boxing world. Analysts argue that sustaining boxing's relevance in 2026 and beyond requires matchups between great names fighters whose identities resonate with audiences. A win for Garcia over Mario Barrios would energize younger generations and bring renewed attention to American boxing.
Garcia does become a world champion, it just makes it more interesting. Legacy reigns supreme. I said the last year that coming into 2026, to sustain the sport of boxing, to captivate the imagination, the emotions, and the interest of the boxing fans and casuals outside of the sport of boxing, we need the names versus the names, relevant versus relevant. We need people that people recognize. We need the fans to recognize these names, and they will be interested. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Garcia beating Mario Barrios is good for the sport of boxing. It's good for this young generation because let's be real, let's be honest. Mario Barrios is not going to cut it in keeping the interest of the sport of boxing. He hasn't done it. He's been in big fights and he have not seized the moment. No, you Dennis Ugas, yeah, but it didn't seize the moment. We need interest. Ladies and gentlemen, American boxing is dying. A lot of people's not investing in American boxing. Let's be
Barrios, though experienced, has often struggled to seize defining moments in past high-profile fights. Garcia, on the other hand, carries mainstream appeal that can draw casual fans and investors back to the sport. Recent events show that for boxing to thrive, matchups between recognizable fighters are crucial, and legacy must take center stage. Champions like Garcia are essential for reigniting passion and investment in American boxing.
Netflix is just going to give you this events here and there. Maybe they'll give us Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao too. But at the end of the day, everybody has abandoned American boxing, and the only way we get these investors back into the American landscape, we got to do what we did out there at Madison Square Garden in New York City this past weekend when we saw Shakur Stevenson beat Teofimo Lopez. Sold-out crowd. Why it was a sold-out crowd? Because it was name versus a name. People recognize both names, tri-state area, right? Teofimo Lopez never did it sold out or even come close to selling out a big arena. Shakur Stevenson didn't come close to selling out even.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.